No.
I mean, that would be great with his name, wouldn't it?
What's that?
Matt Fit and Tyres.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so welcome back to the podcast. This is episode number 8.
I was going to say the podcast. You
The
forgot,
podcast.
haven't you?
What
number it is?
It's number 8. It should be number 9, but I lost all the footage from number 8, so it's number 8.
And this one's going out this week, Monday.
Yeah.
Well, it has to.
Yeah.
So you get an early one.
Really?
You normally have
Yeah,
22
yeah.
weeks.
That's why I don't want to wait.
No.
I don't know where you either.
We're skipping you forward.
Good.
In this year.
And I got tea. I'm the first one to have tea.
You are, yeah. You got a special cup of tea because you bought biscuits though.
Special
It's
one
good,
as well.
actually. It's a good cup of tea.
Yeah, good. It's got VW on it. Just here.
Yeah.
So, if anyone who doesn't know, this is Matt Smith. I think I've probably mentioned him on one of the podcasts at some point, maybe.
I don't think you have.
Have I maybe
I've never
mentioned him?
him.
No, maybe.
Never.
Would you like to introduce yourself, Matt?
Yeah. Well, I'm Matt Smith. Apparently, I get mentioned a lot on here.
To be fair, you're one of my idols from like drifting and car setup and just knowledge and just generally a good guy.
Well,
So that's why you get mentioned a lot.
those doors that you painted are probably the best doors I've ever painted as well. So.
Well, obviously, thank you very much. Yeah, that's what we do.
Tell him that. He's not allowed to know that. That's like telling him he's good at drifting. He's not allowed to.
He's not going to lie.
I was like, oh, that finish is nice on the outside. Turning around, it's like it on the inside as well.
Well,
and there was no bits of debris inside the doors. All hoovered out.
He doesn't even do that with my cars.
Doesn't he?
No.
He's just showing off.
Yeah, but have you seen this car compared to your car? It makes a difference if the car's good to start with. What you know, the level you go to.
I have feelings, you know.
No, you don't.
I sometimes do.
No, you don't.
I do.
So obviously, we've got Paul, Skippy, and Fit in here. Fit
Here.
is,
Hi, Ben.
hi, Fit. You're right over there, mate.
Okay.
You okay, mate?
Can't get a word in the poor bloke, can
I
I?
know.
Every podcast is usually talking at them.
I let you speak then, didn't I?
First time for
I've had a moan at him about it before as well.
I can't help it. I like to talk, alright? Sorry.
Could be mid-conversation here, just pipe up like this really short, angry guy.
So much excitement bottled up in such a small package.
I mean, that's probably one of the best ways I've been described, I reckon.
It's one of the nicer ways I've described you.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I appreciate that.
I mean, two-faced as well.
Yeah.
Usually.
Makes me feel tall as well, that's nice. Thanks for doing that.
You're welcome, I think. Alright, let's jump straight into it then. So, first thing I really want your opinion on is UK drifting. So we've been discussing with everyone, with each other and stuff,
Yeah.
how we feel UK drifting is at the moment. What's good about it, maybe what can be improved. Obviously, not looking for any negatives or anything, but just things that you think maybe you can make next year even bigger, better, bring UK drifting back up to the level it used to once be.
It is very difficult because so much money was burnt before COVID and, probably after and, shortly after COVID in making it such a big thing that it wasn't sustainable. That was the issue. So we're all used to this amazing thing that used to happen with live streams and all the rest of it, but that money wasn't there. That was almost, beyond what was being earned from it.
Mm-hmm.
And now that bubble's burst, nobody's willing to put that on the line to go again. So, we're all excited to go on TV. We want to be live streamed and we want to be,
Yeah, of course.
fancy graphics and all the rest of it, but that's £8,000 to £10,000 for a weekend. And if you do the maths at 32 drivers, what we want to pay for an entry, which we don't all want to pay strong entry fees,
No.
it doesn't work out.
No, which is kind of what Gordon's saying. He said, like we brought up before, there was a post. He said everyone wants BDC live streams,
Yeah.
but that was a 10-year growing,
Yeah.
and I can't just do that straight off the bat, especially when he isn't filling the grid.
That was 10 years of commitments as well. That was 10 years of commitments and expectations is what, I'm no expert, I wasn't on the inside of it, but if you've done it the year before, you come back, you want the same level of what you had or more for your money that you paid into it. So you want to turn up, you want to be treated like a game, you want to be on the live streams, you want to be interviewed by people, and each one of these people needs a wage and they need to come along and do it. The live stream, the setup for the live stream was incredible. Like they had a full editing suite in the back of a fifth wheel trailer with TVs all on the wall and dishes on the roof, and
Next level.
that doesn't turn up for cheap.
No.
And it got to that level, and perhaps sponsors were covering it to a degree, but that took a lot of time to get there, and that's not going to happen overnight.
No, of course not.
And the other side of that is that if there's such a fancy live stream, what's the incentive to get off your sofa and go and watch?
That's exactly what we were saying. Like, we're guilty of it. We watched it
Yeah.
from home.
I am terrible. Yeah.
Why would you leave the comfort of your sofa when you
You've
know?
got great commentary. You can hear it all. It's not cold. It's not wet necessarily.
Yeah.
And
So what you're saying is the bar was raised so high
yeah.
from back then.
The expectation
Yeah.
is way more than the reality that can be produced at the moment.
I agree with that. I really do.
The only way it's going to grow back to that is by us supporting it and going with what's available, really.
Yeah.
I did quite like something that Titch brought up, saying about how it would be kind of, if you had something that went along with the drifting, like a car show, we'd get a lot more people through the door because they could come and take their cars, show them and clean them, and then leave them and go watch the drifting.
Ready-made spectators, they're doing their thing, so they're getting two sides of it, aren't they? They're getting to show off their car and they're getting to see us.
That's why things like Castle Human now is so popular, and Silver's saying that because it's these big car shows, and it is a car show with the drifting on the side or whatever. Well, you kind of want to focus on the drifting and have the car show on the side to bring the spectators in.
The only thing with that is it's two completely different operations. To run a show like that is a whole other operation in itself, and it needs more than babysitting. You can imagine all the questions and all the messages and all I wanted to be inside and now I'm not, and so and says I've got to do this, and that's 10 people's work to sort all that out. And then you've got people leaving the show and doing things on the road, on the way out, up and down the village,
That's
or whatever.
a problem.
It's always a problem when you get that level of enthusiasm with cars attached to it in one venue. You're going to get the old show off.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more.
So there's a risky thing from that point of view, but what a spectacle. You know, you can go with your family, and you know, chances are your family's not all as hell bent on drifting as you are. They, you know, they might want to go and see some shiny cars. They might want to go and sit in something. They might not want to just watch us competing and doing our thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
so you do need a sideshow. I think you're right.
Be nice if Gordon could like almost collab with someone who has like a car festival.
Yeah.
You can almost put them both together. But I mean, like Gordon could then just concentrate on the drifting and the person who does the festival. So you've got two parts of it, but they're joining together and going, this could be amazing.
Yeah.
This could be massive. That would be pretty
Doing
cool.
that as well, and Gordon can kind of split the cost of the track hire with whoever's doing the car show, so it's helping him out a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's just bringing the cost down.
It's logistics as well, though, because you think if you had a stacked grid at Three Sisters, for instance, where you know, even if there was two classes, if you had 64 drivers, and that's without, you know, that's just 64 that could compete. You might have more than that don't actually qualify.
Yeah.
They ain't going to fit in that pits along with the show. No chance.
I think it'd be like that.
You'd fill the pits with 64. I mean, I think the most I've seen there was 90 when it was the last of BDC was 90 odd. I think.
That's when I was there.
Yeah, and everyone had about 2 goes of the track, and then you're into qualifying.
That was me.
horrific, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Worst
that
day
was
of
hard
life.
for those with experience, let alone those who haven't even been to the track before.
Yeah.
That was a nightmare. But that's what happens, is that there's just not enough space. So, I mean, Castle Coombe's great because it's huge, massive car park. You know, you can go all the way around the outside of it, can you?
Yeah.
But how do you compete there?
Yeah, it's not set up for that, is it? It's
Not really.
I don't think they would allow it either.
No.
It's not a track on the calendar as such.
I can't imagine
for
judging it. Could you imagine seeing enough to judge
There's nowhere to sit, is
a
there?
pair
I
of
suppose?
runs there?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's possible with cameras and stuff like that, but
It'd be the downtime as well.
Yeah.
Coming from one side of the track back to the other sort of thing.
definitely, that'd be massive. Yeah.
It's huge downtime, isn't it?
Then you get into the situation where you're having to run one half of a battle, then one half of another battle, while the other lot come all the way around. And
And then
unless you do a roundabout, run it backwards. But I don't know if that'll work because barriers and things might all be set up for one way round.
yeah,
Roundabout's a pretty good idea.
yeah. Use a section instead of a.
I know they did that in Drift Masters, Finland, was it the stadium one? The old stadium. It might have been Finland. Might have been.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. Where it kind of went, it snaked down and went round and round about
Might
and
have
came
been
back.
the prior Poland one. Yeah, but it was a roundabout, and that was incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That
because
was
the fireworks go
walls,
off.
walls,
Yeah.
roundabout, walls.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be good fun.
Yeah.
But nobody in this country would go for that because everyone would kick off at the cars are getting destroyed.
Yeah, but I mean, if you do it correctly, they shouldn't get destroyed. I mean, I'd be the first one
No,
to
but-
plant it into the barrier.
Exactly,
I guarantee that.
yeah.
But I wouldn't. I would still just go. That's a shame.
Wouldn't moan though, would you?
Probably,
oops.
it'd probably be the only top 10% of drivers that wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose.
We're all, you know, to be inch perfect is
That's
a
the
big
yeah.
ask, and you know, you'd have to be inch perfect on a wall.
Yeah, you're
Whereas
talking
yeah.
DMAC, aren't you?
Yeah.
But then again, you
Half
say
a
that.
metre is alright if you're going over the edge of a curve or something.
True, but then you know, I remember watching you and Martin and stuff around Buxton. There ain't much room error there.
All the judgment, some of that, to be fair.
That was awesome.
He was angry.
That was poor 46.
He was angry that weekend for some reason.
That was
That
brilliant.
was one of those where that was probably the best event I've ever done.
It was
Best
great.
driving I've ever done. It was one of those where everything just felt right. The car felt right. I was happy with the layout. The gearing was good. It was all good. And I was just going around doing my thing. And I'm guilty of perhaps leaving too much of a gap. Well, I always have been historically because I worry about other people's cars. I don't worry about mine at all. I'm not. As soon as I get in behind the wheel, I'm not fussed about any of my mechanicals. I look at somebody's door and go, I don't want to dent that.
Yeah.
Martin revved me up in the pits. He said, right, you're doing brilliant. He said, if you can do everything you're doing, but a metre closer, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Because he said you can control that gap to the millimetre,
Yeah.
but you need to do it closer. You don't need to control that gap that far away that well.
Yeah.
Just get closer.
Just get closer. It was awesome. I remember just.
He revved me right up. The judges at the time were pretty good at that as well.
Yeah.
That was Matt Stevenson, Adam Simmons, and Ollie Silcock.
Yeah.
And they were all going, no, you're doing all right, but it's a bit meh, sort of thing.
Yeah. Come on, get on with it.
Yeah, like literally, you need to do something extra. And then I did.
You looked untouchable that weekend. It was great.
Yeah.
It just looked like whatever you wanted to happen with that car, it was happening.
It did. Everything
Yeah,
was good.
it's just-
And then I just got too carried away and span on the last
Four was
on
happening.
the top four, I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. It was awesome though. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Fucking cold though.
It was freezing.
Yeah.
It was absolutely
Things
freezing.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere, like literally you're driving along, like I remember saying to you, like, Paul, this ain't right, mate. Like this gravel track is there it is. Like literally, innit? It just appears.
Mad Max beyond the Thunderdome, and then
Yeah.
you're just going through the
Yeah.
desert, and then you just see this light on the horizon.
Yeah.
Buxton,
There it is.
yeah. Where the water comes from.
I've wanted to drive Buxton ever since. And I,
It's great, but one foot wrong is
yeah, there's no
hard
room for
walk,
error.
and it falls away.
It's fast as well, isn't it? It looks
really
fast.
fast oval.
Yeah. It's a lot bigger than like obviously Smeethorpe's the only thing I can obviously compare it to that I've driven, and it looks a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And like you said, the way it drops, it feels like as you come down to that, if you just come in a bit too
You
fast,
go
you'll
over
come
the
in.
infield, and it's uphill, and then it sucks you down into that back end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just straight out. Yeah, I remember. I think who was I in the car? I think I was in the ster with Stu. Stuart Eder took me for a lap.
Yeah.
And as you go through that middle, I was chasing. Yeah, I think I was in the car with Stu, and you were in the car with Ian Leggett.
Yeah.
And Stu was chasing Ian.
Yeah.
And as you go over that middle bit, it's almost like you're just blind. Like I was in the passenger seat thinking, I can't see a thing, mate. Like let alone where he's going. It's limiter bashing like third, and I'm like, okay, I hope this works.
I don't remember feeling blind. I remember feeling like you're coming up the hill over the infield, and it's almost like you're winding up a spring. And you're like,
Yeah.
flat, because you've got to extend to get over there to transition at the right point.
Yeah.
And then as you transition, it just let it all go, and it's just going back downhill, and all that energy you just put into everything's just sending you at that wall.
And you're heading towards
that
that
was a decision there, yeah.
So fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hydro.
Everything.
Yeah.
Hear lots of screams.
Fuck.
It was, yeah.
Oh, squeaky
And it's
wheels.
the same coming back down through the straight, because it's such a long, mangy. You come around the bottom corner and it's a huge mangy, and then you come down that bottom end, and it does bank up a little bit as it comes up towards
Right, okay.
what the viewing area, if you like, where that is, the pit gate. But you've almost going down there and you're thinking, there's no way I'm making this, and then you get there and that little bit of banking just helps you a little bit.
Just put the throttle on and kind of drags you around.
Well, yeah, you just have to, you have to go a bit harder than you think to stay up it.
It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. I've never driven it. I've only been in the car.
It's very, very cool, but not for the faint heart.
Martin Cowley was fast that weekend.
Yes, he was.
Like it was dry fast.
Cowley's always fast.
Yeah.
He knows how to find speed.
I bet. I can't believe how fast he actually. That straight you said you were talking about when you do a mangy.
I think I battled him, didn't I? Didn't I battle him?
I think you did.
Final, I don't know,
Yeah,
top four. I can't remember how far I got. I know it was high up, and I know that was trophy potential.
Yeah.
But I remember coming down through that straight, and he was just walking away in the wet.
So fast. It was like it was dry.
Yeah.
Mental.
I remember watching the Shanahans around there in a couple of, one of 36 and one of 46.
So, yeah,
Brilliant,
beat-
wasn't it?
That's when you actually see their talent shine through, because it was just like, shit. That's wow.
That's the Winter
insane.
Battle Series. When
Yeah.
you see the big drivers in the basic cars at the Winter Battle Series, you realise that actually it doesn't matter what car I've got.
Yeah,
I could
it's,
have 900 horsepower and still not beating them.
Yeah.
Because they
The
they're
skill
timing-
level.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And not only the skill level behind the wheel, the skill level to think their way through a battle and how to win it.
Mm.
That's the other thing. Before you've even sat in the car.
That's mental. It was literally like watching ballet. You can
Yeah,
see
amazing.
there was three of them. I don't know who the third guy was.
Harry Carr.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was just
Another one that's amazing.
inches from each other.
Yeah.
Inches. It was just insane. I was so impressed. Impressed.
It's all timing. I've watched them in those cars a lot because I love studying it because I can relate. Whereas you see them in their own cars and you can't necessarily relate because you never do anything like that. You know, it's a wild thing, isn't it? Whereas you see them in a 325 or a 328, we can all relate to that, can't we? And you're like, I can't make that do that. So what's going on there? And because it's slower, you can just study it and just go, actually, right, I can see he's timing that, and that's where he's finding that gap and that speed. And
that's exactly what I said to you at Buxton, wasn't it? I said, watching those two, I turned around to Paul and said, I feel like I've learned a lot.
Massive.
Watching them, I've learned a lot about what they're doing because it's all slowed down.
Yeah.
They're still doing the same thing, but just
when they were coming around that bottom corner where everyone stood by the grandstand, and then they were going in, they were doing that big bus stop thing.
Yeah.
You see some of not the mega pros, they were going deeper into that, and then the lead car disappearing. There's a car length gone.
Yeah.
You see the pros are just going and like shorten it
straight into it. Yeah.
It's still a mangy, but it's a short mangy.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to imitate what the lead car is doing necessarily quite so much because you just want to get in there for that bit.
Straight back onto it. Yeah.
And dialing that right so it still looks cool and
getting it to which I always found literally from Buxton watching them go around, realising that when you're chasing, you're not having to extend much. You
get
sucked extending a little bit less.
Yeah.
But then you can just jump forward so much more.
Yeah.
To get back into that pocket where you need to be.
I actually practice that quite a bit at Autofest, chasing Martin around.
Yeah.
Because you're transfixed on the lead car and you're watching what the lead car's doing. You're like, right, he's going there. He's going to transition in a minute. And you almost wait for them to stop and then you transition. That's no good. You need to transition when you feel that they're going to go before they've even started, and then you both go together and you get right in there. Whereas if you hang out, they're transitioning and you're still going deeper and deeper and deeper.
And they pull, and then
the gap happens.
Yeah.
So I was practicing that quite a bit with Martin, and I'm going to be practicing that again in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, and then you put it into full swing in your battle.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that was awesome. Let's just talk about that for a minute, shall we?
Yeah.
What got into you then? So we sent you and Hoggy out to put on a little demonstration, and I was like, God, them boys are throwing it down. To be fair, bear in mind you've done one lap all day.
That's what it was. So we had to
is that what it was?
Yeah, those two, right? I was just like, blimey.
Don't lie, you were drinking tea in the pits. I saw you.
I saw it on the live stream.
And then obviously yours too. I was like, Jesus. And I love the involved footage of your dash falling out. Well, not sorry, you sent the car.
Pieces.
Carry on.
I didn't even know it had come out until I finished the battle.
Really?
Oh yeah. Even the second half, because I was so television, like I'm having him. I'm like cock that up, so I go out and chase.
It was awesome. Yeah.
Your chase was insane.
I remember being on the microphone thinking, and I remember just like not even really knowing what I was saying anymore. It was just like shouting like, "Whoa! Fucking hell!" Can't swear.
Yeah.
Like Jesus. Like it was one transition, and I was like, "Fuck me, that's Jesus Christ!" I need to stop swearing. This is awesome.
Just like the crescendo of practicing that move of getting the timing right and just not being worried about the cars, the lead car still being there, Martin in this case, still being there. That he's not going to be there because if he gets his transition done, he's gone. Yeah. So you want that space. You don't want to be following in.
It was awesome.
A metre after.
It was awesome. It was great to watch.
Yeah. Okay. It was my highlight of the day.
Yeah, mine too.
We had the best view as well. Didn't we?
Yeah, we stood on like.
Well, what they were used to wave the start flag up on that little podium bit. Yeah, always was up there. That was
good view up there.
And that's where you started pirouetting together. Was right below us.
I think I was nearly deafened. Where were you at that point?
I was down by pit gate.
Oh, were you? Yeah. Oh, maybe I had a hell of a view down at pit gate then as well.
The noise of it, the both of them.
I think I was like that at one point.
Well, quite a few times, like the pair of you doing sort of rolling burnouts going off the track, and I'm just in the middle trying to film, and it's just smoke. And at one point, as Matt's going out, smoke followed him. And he got halfway down like where the queue is. He was like halfway down there before he saw his car, because it was just smoke.
It was like a cloud that was attached to the car, wasn't it? Because the wind was going at exactly the same speed as we were going, so it was just like, it's ever going to clear?
Am I ever going to be able to see you again?
Yeah, it was weird.
Wow, that was brilliant. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
On the show. It was awesome.
That was amazing.
Hopefully see you next year if the dates work out correct for you.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, awesome. We're going to fill the potholes and
Oh,
stuff
that'd
like
be
that.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to do all that beforehand.
Yeah.
Well, I snapped the hub because
Martin
of
was
it.
talking about helping with that.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think what
is
we're
it?
going to do is
Yeah.
try and plan, like, obviously, before the weekend, we're going to go up on, like, a Wednesday night and get a load of us, and whoever's free can help,
Yeah.
and we're just going to do all the big ones and get it as good as we can.
Yeah, I was pretty savage hitting that
Yeah.
one. I knew they were there, and I wanted that line. And I was
Yeah.
like-
Yeah.
But I didn't see it because I can't see all the bonnet.
No,
So,
fair enough. I know that
not
pain,
joking
mate.
either. I'm not joking. So on a transition, if there's a pothole, I can't see it
Oh,
or anything on the floor at all. To be honest.
what? Just
But
because
that's
it's
not
so
so
low, or is that
Yeah,
in
I
real
like to
cars?
sit quite low. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking out the window is fine. So if I stick more angle on, I can see everything. It's great. The window's right here, isn't it? So you can be like right there, can't you? But the bonnet, it's got a bulge in it as well, isn't it? It's got the fancy bonnet on it.
Yeah.
No, can't see a thing.
That's why I sit quite high on mine. Problem is with mine, no one else, you'd probably be able to drive it, but no one else can drive it. Like, watching him trying to get in my car, watching him trying to drive it is hilarious. Like, his head's hitting the roof on it because I have the seat quite high. It's literally like
I
that.
feel so uncomfortable.
Oh, no, I love it. It feels right for me, but I'm just so used to it.
I feel a bit like, I don't know, when you get thrown around on something high, when you're in a truck or something,
Oh, I
you go over a speed
suppose.
bump, it's like,
I think I'm just used to it. I don't know.
it's a couple of inches, isn't it? But yeah,
Yeah.
I like it at all. I get loads of stuff at Driftland and the E36, the same on that. I got the seat on the floor pretty much,
Right.
and going through the pits, and there was somebody dug out some of the gravel by the entry to the track. Smack! Like, what the hell was that? Well, I wouldn't know because I can't see in front of me, but I hit something.
There's a poor child screaming.
It's got the Cabrio X brace on it, and that obviously goes subframe to floor.
Yeah.
You hit anything with that, you can taste it. It's,
Yeah.
it makes everything rattle for about an hour afterwards.
Yeah. I literally feel it through your bones.
Oh, it's one of those. It really is nasty when you hit that.
Well, talking about BMWs then.
Yes.
So one thing that we've been discussing a lot is we started off talking about it. The difference between a BMW
Yes.
and an S body.
Yes, there is. Yes.
So, yes. Not just the badge.
Drastically different. Yeah.
So in the very first conversation we had, I talked about stuff that you taught me, which is very bad basics of how when a BMW squats, it
Yep.
will tow out, and when an S body, it will tow in.
Yeah.
And that's one of the main differences.
Yeah.
You've gone from, obviously, well, I'm not going to go through the list of your cars because, as we discovered last night, there's a hell of a lot of cars you've had.
There's a couple. Yeah.
Has.
Or still has, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't mention about the amount of cars you've had that you're meant to sell either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll move on from that. Yeah.
That basically means that the PS isn't. I'm not the majority shareholder in the PS. That's what that means.
That's fine. You're the majority driver of it, so don't worry about it.
Smashing right up all the time.
But obviously, so RDC, you won that in
Yeah.
the 36.
In the 36, yeah.
And then obviously you went to the 46
Yeah.
platform.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere you come with this insane PS.
And they're all different.
And then, no, again, they're all different setups, I imagine. And
They're as different as each other, I think. The 36 and 46, I didn't expect to be different at all, and it was wildly different. Because you could basically swap trailing arms on a 36 to a 46, and you can swap various bits and bobs.
Yeah.
But what a difference. The
really.
grip was unreal, yeah.
So which one had more grip?
Oh, 46, miles. Like,
So-
inconvenience amount of a grip.
Would you say a 46 is a better car than 36?
I like them all
build.
differently.
You like them? See,
I like them all for different reasons, I think. To look at, I prefer the 36 at the moment because it's classic.
Yeah.
And
and it's square.
That
Yeah.
retro look of the
Yeah,
36 is a bit nicer.
It is,
I would
definitely.
agree with that.
But that's only really been a thing for the last few years. Like when I had my 36 and it was RDC, it was just wallpaper. It didn't, nobody really looked at the 36s. They were just filler, and everyone was excited about the S bodies and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So it was,
The
36 wasn't
GDM.
exciting regardless. And a 46 was just like, wow, that's just too new. Nobody's drifting those yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but now when you get it out, people are like, oh, that's so cool. And I was like, why wasn't it cool in 2017 when I started using it?
You were ahead of the times, mate. You're trendsetter.
People were throwing these things away. I think I bought that car for 300 quid.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, it's insane, isn't it?
It's basically an M3 now.
I got another one, same colour. I paid 400 quid for that one. Like, unreal.
Mad. Wonder what it's worth.
You wouldn't want to know. I don't
No,
reckon.
think-
Not with
but-
that engine and stuff in it.
But that's what I mean. So the 36 to look at is more, I think, more of a maybe because there's less of them
Aesthetically
around now. They're not so common. And you look at them and you go, oh, that's quite nice.
Mm.
And you know the one Connor's using in FD and LZ's one, they're pretty looking cars, aren't they? And they've done them right. They've become classic.
Yeah.
So I think there's that. Yes, 46 I like as well. Yeah, it's the same thing really, but it's just so much grip in it. So much grip.
Right.
And it's got the M3. That is an M3 shell. That one. So that's got the M3 arms and the M3 subframe, and things are in different places. So
Right.
that could also be something to do with it.
You don't reckon all your grips come from the fact you're using bigger wheels, semi-slicks and
No,
stuff
because
like
I
that?
put the 17s from the 36
Oh,
on it first.
okay.
So I was using it because I was just like, I can't drive this. It's too grippy. And I put 17s on it, and it was still too grippy.
Okay.
That was the same wheels with the same tyres from the 36.
Oh.
In fact, I might even go as far as to say it was faster because there was less rotational mass.
Yeah.
And that's like lightening. You put a wheel with 2 kilos lighter on it. It's like lightening a flywheel by 2 kilos. It's massive. It's like saving 100 kilos off the car.
Do you know the reason why?
Because it's you spin a weight on a bit of string.
No, why it's grippier than the 36?
Oh no, not a clue. I mean, well, I kind of do. Yeah, the arms, the trailing arms are. I've drawn graphs for this. Trailing arms are different in lots of ways. They've got more squat in the M setup, and the transverse arms, if you like, your upper arm and your lower arm, they're in different places.
Okay.
So there's subtle changes to that make a massive difference.
Right.
The other thing that's different between the two cars, which has nothing to do with the fact that they're factory build, is the 46 is on a true coilover, and the 36 isn't.
That's true.
Which again makes it squat more.
Yeah.
Which is what you did, didn't it? You changed yours to a true coilover. You run what?
But then I ran a 7k sprint.
7k.
Which
And that
was quite hard, I think.
what was in the back of it,
Pretty
like
quick.
standard floor and everything? Or?
Nothing.
No.
It was M2, wasn't
I
it?
believe
Tore
it
it
off. Yeah.
So that's hard. Yeah. But it's a different thing because you've got the trailing arm like this. The spring would normally be here on the top arm, and then the shock's back here. Yeah. Whereas you put the spring back there, so like your leverage on the spring is completely different. Yeah. So that's where the squat comes from. I think is the fact that you've changed where the load bearing is.
Changed
The load bearing is then way further behind the hub.
But an interesting thing I found was because I ran the back of the car quite low, and when I raised it up, it gave me a load more grip.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that's the trailing arm angle that's all with that.
Maybe. I don't know why that would be. To be honest.
Maybe it's not squatting well, no.
Yeah. What kind of grip? Forward grip, side grip? What do you think really benefited mainly?
Forward, definitely forward. Yeah.
Okay. Don't know, because if you've gone beyond, it depends how low it was. If you've gone, if the trailing arm's pointing up in the air, you've gone beyond that, all you're making is squat. Every time you accelerate, you'll make squat because it's trying to turn that arm that way round, isn't it? The minute you accelerate. Whereas if you're down there, it's pushing the energy into the spring more. So it's not, it's squat versus anti-squat.
Yeah.
So instead of pushing the car forwards, it's doing that. So it's difficult to say. You'd be relying on the tyre more, I would have thought.
Yeah, you'd kill tyres in that car, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like kill
Absolutely,
them, like destroy them. Like
Kill tyres like quicker than
A brand new pair of 235s, 4 laps there, pretty much there. 5 laps there on the course.
Where to?
everywhere.
Yeah, it's his foot.
Yeah. One run at Driftland, done a pair of tyres. One
Right.
run at Smeethorpe, I've done a pair of tyres.
My tyres last longer than his.
Nightmare, isn't it? Anyway,
Yeah,
it's like
Smeethorpe is a killer, yeah, definitely. But I would get double the amount of life out of mine than him.
Right. That's S body thing, though. Again, if an E46 makes 50% more grip than an S body, it's got to go somewhere in it. So you're going to ruin the tyre in doing that.
Yeah, true.
It's, it wants to grip, and you're making it not grip. The tyre's a weak point. Whereas an S body will just float. It just. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
Just my next question. Yes, body then.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the big difference? Is there a massive difference driving? Oh no, it's hard to say because the cars are very different, aren't they? Because obviously now you've gone to boosted, more power, and obviously.
Which one's
in the
easier?
chassis? Yes, it's
Which
totally
one?
different.
Which one's easier to drive?
Neither.
Out of the three.
Neither.
Out of the three.
Out of the three, the E36 is by far the easiest to drive, and it's the most fun.
Yeah.
Because it's less focused.
Yeah.
So you can play with that, and you can do, you can just do shallow angle, you can do big angle, you can do whatever you want. And The PS has almost got one mode, and it's like set your air on fire and off you go. Otherwise, it's not happening.
Yeah.
You can't really be delicate with it.
I can see that. Yeah.
Just throw it around like grab it by the scruff and tell it what to do.
And like the gearbox, it's got the G-force 4-speed in it, and you can't just click. You know, it's not like Martin's Quafe where you just I'm gonna have a second and a third. With the G-force, you've got to go get in there, and that affects your whole driving attitude because you're smashing gears. You're like, well, smash the steering as well, smash the wands, smash the bottles.
We're talking Three Sisters here, the old video.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
I do love that video.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was fatigued. It was fatigued from the previous owner. Obviously, I just.
Right. Is that what it was? Nothing to do.
You do look very relaxed in the PS then.
Thank you. That's probably not a good thing, but yeah.
To be fair, you do like. I always say I always like to think of you as like the professor of drifting because you think about everything so calculated with you. When you watch you drive, I don't know what's going on in your head, but I watch like the inboard footage of you, and I think you just kind of look like you're kind of just
going for a Sunday drive.
Yeah, it doesn't look like you're stressed. It doesn't look like you're putting loads of effort in, worried about anything. You kind of just like it looks like right. You're going to transition over there, so I've already done that in my head, and now I'm looking at the next corner. But I don't know. It almost looks like you're a step ahead.
In my head, it didn't like that. In my head, I watch it back afterwards, and I think there's no way that looks so sedate. Because in my head, that was like racing. Everything was going mad, and I was doing loads of stuff in my head.
Yeah.
But by the time it gets to my hand, it must just be.
It's funny because I watch like, especially in the PS. I watch you drive that, and it's like, and I say that, and the 46 to be honest. Well, everything you drive, and I think like, fucking hell, that's so keen. That's like balls out, ballsy. And then you watch the inboard footage, and it literally looks like you're like a bit of that way, a little bit of that, and it's
I don't like being thrown about in the cabin. That's one thing I don't really like. If I'm, you know, if there's a sticky bit on a transition, I'll just do it again and make sure it's not there.
Right.
I don't like being thrown around too much.
We was watching the videos of Silverstone on the pedals, and you just like, there you go, and you're like, right, that's it. And then this foot's tucked in, you just like, you don't need your clutch anymore.
Planted.
Like, yeah, fuck it.
I know, that's a bit, I said two reasons for that. One is just laziness, and I'm just like, well, I'll just put my feet up then. The second one is, I got bad back, and it's more comfortable for my back if I can push down on the floor. Whereas if my leg's just floating in midair, it feels like it's loading at my back. So I can't wait to get my foot off the clutch and get it on the floor. So I'm like, that's better. So I kind of like I can prop myself a little bit with it. It just feels better. So I think that's subconsciously what I do.
You look funny, you know, you're flying around the corner Silverstone.
One foot
you've got one foot down, the other one's just like flat on the floor. It's like, yeah.
Again, I didn't know I did that until I watched that back. A lot of things. You make these split-second decisions in your head when you're in a battle or whatever, don't you? And things happen. And you haven't got clues. So it's just so crucial to have in-car footage sometimes like that, and have feet cams and all the rest of it, because you can watch it back and go, bloody hell, I never knew I did that. And then you can analyse it a bit and go, actually, that's quite useful. And then you can think about what you're doing, and it's not just automatic things anymore. And
I found it helpful for me watching other people's inboard footage. I've never had any of my own, but watching other people's, because there's things that I've done and I've been like, I don't know if I should have actually done that. Am I doing something wrong? Then you see someone else doing the same kind of thing, and you're like, okay. It's kind of like it's another technique that people are doing.
I don't know. Sometimes I wouldn't watch mine too much for that, because sometimes I sit back and go, "What the fuck do I do that for?"
Everyone does that with all sorts of things.
I didn't, you know, if I didn't have that footage to play back, I would just say I was a bit shallow on that clip.
Yeah.
But battle series when I'm battling Max Fletney, I initiate and then I dab the wand into 2. Why did I dab the wand? I didn't need to dab the wand. I lost half a metre. Just panic, I guess. But your brain tells you to do these things, but actually what I need to do is throttle, more throttle.
Yeah.
Not slow down.
No, because you're going uphill.
Yeah.
And like, you know, that's another thing. Walking the track is crucial, because you drive it and you're like, oh, it's a bit slow, you know, I'm a bit slow on this bit. And then you're walking, you're like, well, actually, this is massively uphill, and I've never really appreciated that.
It's everything from what looks like on a live stream or on a YouTube video. Look, it's so different when you get to it in real life for the first time.
Yeah, well, I'd say live stream's the worst, because it's normally elevated, so it flattens everything.
Yeah.
So that's
T-side.
First time I did T-side, I couldn't believe the banking. I was just like,
I didn't know
that existed. Yeah.
We walked.
Well, no, we pulled up.
You almost feel like you're falling down. I couldn't believe how banked it is.
It looks dead flat.
Yeah.
It's not.
And the straight to it as well. It's downhill, and it's.
Oh yeah.
It looks like it's
straight. Like just flat. Everything flat.
Sucks you in.
Yeah.
One of the classic kind of ends of the BDC was the night fight that happened there.
That was brilliant.
Yeah, it was
That
brilliant.
Was absolutely brilliant.
Unless you're one of the neighbours or the council, it was brilliant.
Okay.
But all the owners of the track who said expressly for that not to happen. I gather.
Oh, did they?
yeah. It was supposed to be a parade.
Yeah.
And
Oh shit.
I think a couple of the marshals maybe encouraged some of the guys to go, oh yeah, you know, do a little bit of something and a little bit of something, turn into a lot of something. But yeah, so I was trying to, you know, just doing a burnout, going down there and just trying to do a donut on the banking. And it was then that I really realised how much that banking made an effect on the car. Because it physically would not do anything other than point uphill. It was like a pendulum.
Yeah.
Just couldn't move
That's
it.
how steep it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could just drive along, and the minute you light those wheels up, which went zoom, like that, and the back wheels found the bottom.
Wow.
Oh, mental.
That's how steep it is. So then when you're going in there and you're thinking, I'm going to fall off this track, you don't. You end up halfway at the bank because you need to go 5 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour faster than you think.
I was always lower than you think. Like
Yeah.
you think you're doing a million mile an hour.
Yeah, because that's drawing you down.
You end up halfway down the bank. You're like, whoa. Well, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you need to go faster.
Yeah,
And have the
it's
balls.
bizarre. Yeah.
Yeah.
Until you get to
You'll
the end
find
of
out
it and then
next
it flattens out and then you fall off. And then it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
You ended up in the kitty litter, didn't you?
Oh, I've done all sorts
That
of
was
stuff.
funny.
I've done all sorts, mate.
I'm pretty sure the in-car footage. What did you do? You went to a dish hit. And I think you just went straight or something. I don't know what happened, and I think it was.
I can't remember.
You said
Oh,
something
my
like
46?
that was shit. Yeah.
That was shit.
Something like
Oh
that.
no, that was my. I've got a bit of an issue with buy runs, where.
Oh, that was it. It was a buy run.
Yeah, buy runs are a problem for me
Okay.
because I'll get my line sussed and I'll get my game head on. I'm like, right, I'm going to do this, and you go out and you do your qualifying, and it's all good because there's pressure, and then you've got to perform to a level. You don't go above that level. You've got to do that, and then there's buy run, brilliant, party time. Let's take everything that I've just done and turn it up by 10. It doesn't matter the results of this, but it does if you go in the ball. So you know.
First clip it was. He was just in there.
Yeah, so like buy runs, I'm frightened. They worry me because I'm like, I've got to tame this somehow because I'm
It's
you know.
absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
So fun. Just the in-car footage.
almost to the point where my buy runs will be boring now because I know full well if I don't, I'll go way too far over the top and just crash because
That's one thing I'll always say about your driving is you're always consistent. Like unless you're really trying to push something and trying something, no, but you are like you're always kind of like the same kind of line, the same kind of consistency, no matter what the pressure.
That's why I don't do very well at chasing. Because I'm doing my line, and then the person in front of me does something else, and I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I've just lost the car gap space.
Apart from
Yeah,
the last all in when you could only do one direction, so his car would cut out.
We don't talk about stuff like that. We
Yeah,
don't have any problem cars, do we? Yeah, what direction? which way was it?
Dunno.
On the CD?
It was.
I was running out of fuel. That's what it was. You go
So
any
you could
more
only
than-
go left.
Yeah.
It's like Zoolander.
Yeah.
Can
Yeah,
only turn
you can
around.
only turn one way.
A little bit of fuel in the tank, something to go up over the prop and to the other side all the time.
Yeah, that's it.
Brilliant. So, how come? Because I remember speaking to you a while ago, and you were talking about putting a different engine into the 46,
Yes. Well, yes.
and then a PS stand up.
Yes, it did. Yeah. So that was just a whim, really.
Well, the PS was a win.
I got in my guts. I didn't want to mess with the 46
Yeah, I get that.
because I
I
loved
think it's
it.
a great car.
I loved it as it was, and if I took that engine out of that, I wouldn't have anywhere to put it. You know, I wouldn't want to sell it because it's a nice one, and I've done everything I want to it, and you know, I don't think I'd get another one like that.
Yeah,
So it would be sat on a shelf. So that's pretty pointless.
it's a waste of it's a waste of an engine, isn't it?
Yeah, and I quite like the way the 46 is with that engine in it. It is.
It works.
It's done, you know, it's finished, and I didn't feel that it needed to go further. To the point where I'd probably even have built another 46 and put a JZ in it, so I could
Right.
leave that one alone.
Yeah, fair
Which
enough.
seems weird, but
No, I do get that.
I mean, the proof of that car was US Arenas at Three Sisters.
what, pushing him round in the V8 thing?
Jesus Christ, that was just like I was sat on top of Zach Parker's van.
Yeah,
Zach him up,
Yeah.
Max and that. And it's just like, so I put up on YouTube, I got a comparison video, one above the other. And Arenas in the lead obviously pulled out a little bit, but he was trying his hardest. And he was keeping up with him in the 46, and in Arenas like, what, like 1,000 horsepower, 36 or something like that?
No, that one wasn't. That one was LS engined NA.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that 36 was
I mean, it's still
same
quick.
same sort of livery as his other cars,
Yeah.
but it was Callum Turpey's car from Scotland. It used to be black. It's got an LS of some description in it, possibly 500 brake. So they were probably quite matched cars, but I don't think he had the grip in it.
And it still seemed pretty fast.
It was fast because the Rudis makes anything fast. That's the Rudis.
Anything's a smoke machine, anything's fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally you pushing around there was...
But he was struggling with pace on it anyway, so that wasn't all me. That was him being slow as well.
So it was you that ate his side scale, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was revenge though, because he bumped bits off my car first. So,
Tit for tat, as they say.
At the next event,
but I think I win more panels than he owes me. I think I owe him a headlight for once at Rockingham, and I owe him a side skirt now. And I also knocked a bit off of his E92 when he first had it built as well, which I felt awful for. Really bad.
And this is the person that doesn't like to be on people's doors because he
I
doesn't
don't
want to damage their car.
Yeah. No, but it was a position where I was chasing him in the E92, exactly the same place, believe it or not, that same corner, the same thing. And I was at a position where if I backed out of it, it probably would have shot forward harder than if I'd have just kept it on. So I was just like, well, I've got nowhere to go. I kept it on, and he just, what was that? I was like,
went to Nick's round, obviously, you know, he's known the E46 was clean, always clean, everything's pristine and that. I was just sat there and I was looking at it and I went, it's like black pen. And he was like, shh. And because part of the autograph sticker had come off with Renus's wheel, he'd got black marker and just coloured it in.
Amazing.
yeah, I didn't have another sticker, so I was instant sticker.
Instant sticker, black pen. I like that. That's good.
It was a last minute thing in the workshop. I just happened to have it in my hand, and I was just like, that's perfect. Arena spotted it though. He took photos of it, didn't he? Put it up somewhere.
I don't doubt it. Don't doubt it at all. I always loved that 46. I remember people crowding around it at one point, and you were talking. I think you were talking to me and Paul. You're like, hang on a minute. Walked over to it and just like, excuse me. Picked up the door and then came back and stood with us. And I'm like, what? And he's like, oh, the door comes off, doesn't it? I was like, I fucking love that.
Yeah.
And people just look at you like, I hope that's his car.
Yeah. People that aren't into drifting and don't know
Just
that
don't
46s
understand.
can do that,
Yeah.
blows their mind.
Yeah.
And they're quite light at doors as well. So
You do that. You always don't you when you're loading up all the wheels and tyres, just goes and takes all the doors off it. It's like,
much easier.
that's a good idea, to be fair.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So how are you finding? Obviously, I know this is your first year in with the PS.
Yeah.
How did you find it compared to the 46?
Learning curve, a very steep learning curve. Yeah.
Obviously, you went over to Ireland a couple of times as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
How was that?
That was a steep learning curve. Those guys are unreal. The Irish drive at a completely different level to what we do.
Yeah, I've heard by many people.
Yeah.
It's another level.
I think partially because they're starting earlier maybe, but motorsport's in their genes. I've been going to Ireland for years and years and years now. Late 90s I started going to Ireland for motorsport stuff. I used to go over and do the West Cork Rally, pit crew for that.
Oh,
So back then it was A86s everywhere.
Yeah.
Rollers, twin cams. And then, you know, the years we went back, then it suddenly the twin cams dried up, and then it's IS200s on every corner.
yeah.
And it was hilarious because you go over for the rally and you just be driving down the road, and in between stages there'd just be well, in the old days it was a twin cam. There'd be a couple of twin cams just parked. And you're like, what are they doing? And then you go off, do the stage, come back, and there'd be rings.
Yeah.
Every crossroads and every corner there'd be rings, and then the 86 would be part of there. You're like, well, that was definitely you, mate.
Yeah. There's no hiding that.
No, and it just it was brilliant to see because, like, you know, they were having so much fun in those things.
Yeah.
It's different.
But that
well, it's different, isn't it? It's not drifting. It's
different. Yeah, that's right. It was different in twin cams, and that is to them is everything. And you know, that's not a big stretch to go from that to drifting. So you know, they've got the equipment, they've got the cars, they've got the enthusiasm. There you go.
Got the lunacy.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's go for it. Yeah.
And you'd go over there to rally, and you know, the guys I used to go over with were UK champions, and they would get made look crap because this is people that drive these lanes every day for fun on the way to work or just down the shops, whatever. And we'll go over there with our technique, and they're like, well, it's all good, well and good if you have any technique, but you don't know what's in that bush, do you? I could take an extra half a metre through that bush, and you can't, you know, like,
Yeah.
and you just see them, and they're just 20-30% faster than everything else.
Mental.
And that's the same with the drifting. Is that, you know, they are just natural.
Yeah. It just
It's just
seems
natural.
it's more in their culture maybe sort of thing, like
Yeah, I
brought up
guess.
a bit, little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah.
like you said, a bit younger.
It's encouraged.
Yeah.
You know, the families behind these people, they're fantastic. You go over there and, you know, you go to a drift day here, you don't see the whole family there. You
No.
might see somebody and their mate or somebody and their brother, You go to a drift day over there, it's the whole family, and they're 120% behind. You know, the son, the brother, the husband, whatever. It's all in.
Yeah, we don't really get a lot of that around, like, not really.
Remember those people like John Shannon and that, they help anyone.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
anyone breaks, he's there.
Yeah.
I've
You can't wait.
heard
Yeah,
nothing but great things about the Shanahan's and obviously John and stuff.
But John's not alone. You know, there's one of those in every family, and you know,
That's great.
Yeah, it really is great. And
Well, it's like Super Fry, isn't it? Mutant Engineering.
Yeah,
Friday.
yeah.
He will help anyone. He's the nicest guy, and he started competing. Like the year I was doing the YouTube for Drift League, he bought his S13 up for a couple of rounds. He was having issues, but he wasn't touching his car. He was doing everyone else's car. He was doing like overnight engine swaps and stuff on other people's cars. He's just like,
if anyone absolutely loves it and just loves being involved with it, it's Brad. He is someone else, you know, and the joy I can see that it brings him to get somebody back out on track is immeasurable. You could give him 10 grand, and I don't think he'd be as happy as he was to just fix that problem for you and get you back out of that qualifying. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's mad, isn't it? That's a good person.
Unreal. Yeah, he came to Watergrass Hill with me. He picked me over at Watergrass Hill this year, and that was when I stacked it in.
Yeah,
yeah,
that was good. That was.
Well,
I mean, as far as crashes go, I remember seeing it. I remember I was following you on the on your page. You were putting up updates, and then you just putting up an update, and you just stood there and you well, I went a little bit keen on this one, and it's kind of gone a bit wrong, and it just zoomed out to like the car. I was like, fuck! And then like a couple of days later, the video came out of the outside of. Obviously, you see the inboard footage, and it looks bad, and you see the outside footage, and I was like. My God, that's bad. And then for you to get back out there, I was like, that's crazy.
it's just
That was so bad.
You're waving at the crowd. It looks like you're waving at the crowd going into the crash.
that was so bad. It could have been a Byron. It was very much Byron syndrome. It was the end of practice, and I was like, right, let's go. We're going full hammer
One more time.
just before qualifying. Byron.
Yeah.
It was the Byron of qualifying. So I stacked it, got recovered back, and they couldn't get us to our pit. We ended up down the bottom, which was a bit of a trek away from our pit because the truck wouldn't fit because there was, I think there might have been 100 cars in this small kart track pit. It was rammed. And people like the memorable ones. I don't want to name too many people. Chris Brady, quite a famous drifter in Ireland. He was come straight over and was like, "Anything I can help you with, let me know."
That's awesome.
And like, you know, what do you need? And I was just like, I don't know. And Brad was already underneath at this point. I hadn't even got out of the car. And Brad's underneath it, going, right, I need this, I need that, right. And he's like running around getting tools.
It
And
appears from nowhere, though, doesn't it? Like you just you see a pair of legs under a car that appears from nowhere. You know it's Brad.
Yeah.
It's just a pair of legs. It's like it's Brad.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was unreal. Ryan Hughes was over there as well, and those guys were involved in helping as well, and just bumping back and forth parts and tools and. Like,
What damage did it actually do then? Did it just do some arms, or because it looked pretty severe? But I mean,
yeah, it was quite bad. The near side rear hub was bent completely. There's white fab hubs on the rear, full white fab. The lower arm had broken, I think. The toe arm was snapped completely off and mullered the rose joint. So it was one of those things where you couldn't get the bolt out because it mullered the rose joint so badly. So it was just an arm swap, it's easy in it, but then you got this rose joint with a bolt hanging out of it through the hub. I want to grinder it and then knock a bit, grinder it, knock a bit, and it was just
tedious and
mess. Yeah, and then when the rose joints, you get the washers, the specific washers that go with the rose joint that click into it to make it. Yeah, those were all mullered, so then they all needed like getting off of the broken bolt that we had, and so Brad's just cracked on and done all that. With help. So it was unreal.
And you got out for your second qualifying run.
Yeah.
And you managed to make it
I
on
think
the
I've done
track.
both qualifying runs.
the track.
I thought that was your first one, the one you crashed on.
No, that was the end of practice.
Oh, practice. Oh, I thought it was your first qualifying run.
No, well the thing was because it's Ireland, it's a long trip. So I didn't take loads of tyres. I only took what I could take.
Yeah.
And said, right, well, there's going to be loads of drivers. I won't get that much practice time. I did get that much practice time, and I was looking at the tyre budget, going, we're going to be struggling here. So we'll reuse some park ones to practice on through the morning on the Sunday. Let's say, I think it was a Sunday. So we're on tyres with 1.5 mil, 2 mil on it.
Yeah, so
just to get the line down.
sort of thing.
Yeah, which was fine. and they were working okay.
Yeah.
And then at the end of practice, I was like, right, we've done all right on those. We've got a spare pair of new to put on just to get me out of the game of what new's going to be like for qualifying. Chuck those on, and this is Byron syndrome. Is that I've got new tyres now. I don't have to hold back anymore.
Oh no.
So I'm not on part one. So I had that little thing in my head that I'm on part ones. Don't go mad because you're on part ones. Okay, right, just get the line, Right, full confidence, got all the grip in the world. I'm on new ones, a little bit less pressure. Brilliant. So I had probably, 5% more grip and 30% more enthusiasm. Went over the top of that hill, and one of the judges came over. He was in the video, in the middle of the track videoing, and he said, "That is the fastest I've seen anyone attempt that." Like, well, it didn't work.
Yeah. That's why.
But if it did, it would have been sick. Well, it didn't. Yeah.
That track looked really cool.
Oh, it's amazing.
Like the way it kind of like first corner drops down and then you kind of come back up on yourself.
Yeah. So you do your opposite flick and then you go over the top of the hill as you're transitioning into the downhill bit. As long as you actually transition into that, but it's quite good.
Not into
If you
the
don't,
kick.
it goes off fast and it's the bank at the end. You can do it quite hard.
What's it like driving Mondello?
Mondello is incredible. Yeah, Mondello was I've got a problem where I don't necessarily get as scared as I probably should until after it's happened.
It's probably a good thing with drifting though.
Well, not if the PS could talk. No. So the first run at Mondello, I'm coming up the hill, and you go up the hill, and it's bump, bump, and then down like that. So it's like when you get a rug and you shake it, and you get the ripples, don't you? It's like that going up. So you go up the hill, you go over one lump, you go over another lump, and I think it's the third one, and then it's a 90 right. So you can't see it because of the lumps. So you come up the hill, and I'm just like, well, it's got to be third, isn't it? So I just smash it into third and just flick it. And it worked. And then I was like, well, that could easily have not worked when I got there. I was like, but, it did, and it was all right. And I got round. And, it was a reasonable start to the practice, and that's how it went on. But it being how it is, it could easily go the other way. Like, it was a 50-50. But I knew that at some point I'm going to have to flick it, and it's going to have to go right.
Blind then?
Yeah.
Because it's fast as well, isn't it?
You can see the top quarter of the grandstand, I guess, going up the hill, and then you go over the second lump. And if you get it wrong, because you go over the lump, and if you've not initiated or transitioned, if you like, if you do an opposite flip, if you're not transitioned hard enough, you're light and you just understeer. So you've got to have it on angle, and this is a lot of people have warned me that you've never driven Mondello. No, okay, be careful, it will understeer when you go over that second jump. And I was like, oh, great, looking forward to that. So I made sure it didn't by making it a big flip, and that's how it went on for the whole weekend. But like I say, it's so you time it a split second wrong, and it becomes light at that point when you need it heavy, and
Off it goes.
straight in the bank.
So that what? See how Gormy went straight on, didn't you? Is that understeer then? Or,
Yeah, that was a weird
like
one.
caught grip and went the other way.
I was suffering with confidence on clip one. So clip one was on the outside of the left of the circuit. So you come up the hill, and you almost opposite flick over one of the jumps, let's say, and then the second jump is when you start opposite flicking back. And I wasn't confident enough to go fully over to the left. Like Jack Shanahan and James and all the bigger drivers would go fully over that curve.
So I was clipping that sort of.
Yeah, it's got a tarmac, and I think there's a bit of curb, and they're like using the curb to push wider and push into it. I wasn't brave enough to be doing that, and I wasn't really getting fully into that first clip because of it. So, yeah, there's that. But I don't know what the point was now. I've gone off on tangent. What were we saying?
That's why we call this sidetrack, because that's what we always do. We just go off on.
I've gone off.
The understeer.
Yeah, the understeer. Oh yeah, with the moment where I went through the middle. It was again towards the end of practice, but it wasn't what I would class as Byron syndrome. It was more that I don't know. It just felt everything just went off. I just felt that it didn't feel as right as it did on the other runs. But I was one of 7 cars in a row that did that. So what happened? I don't know. Whether there was some oil down or whether the track changed. Because it was just me. I'd be like, well, that's that.
Yeah.
I just did something shit, and that was that.
It's almost like like something changed on the track and everyone went, nope, not right.
Yeah.
And you kind of like that split second decision to pull out sort of thing.
I think most
Well, I
managed to
obviously-
go through the middle, but
Yeah.
I'm sure someone went into the tyres, didn't they? Got
Yeah.
it just wrong, went straight into the tyres.
Yeah.
It's the risk, isn't it? I suppose.
Felt, I mean, it's very difficult. Even if you ask me immediately after, you can't really remember because it's split second stuff, isn't it? but it almost felt like I flipped it and it just didn't quite flip back. And then I bailed. I was like, I see a gap, I'm having it. I'm not. So I just encouraged the car through the gap rather than try to make it work and end up in the bank.
Yeah.
Twitchy bum moment, it's like tyres, gap.
Yeah, it's literally just like one of those where it's like, I like that.
That looks like the easiest option.
The
cheapest option.
By a long shot, yeah. Because maybe boys in front ain't coming around there by the time I get there. But the single funniest thing about that was the photographers, because they're all stood on the left, like you go over the hill, you go round, and they're like waiting for you to come down and run the wall and get in front of the grandstand. So they're all stood there looking that way. And not really paying attention to me coming the wrong way around the track. And I come through there at about 60, I guess, I don't know, and they're like, what? There was like 10 orange jackets all going, what are you doing? The cameras weren't even in their hands. Like they weren't ready to see a car yet, you know, they were like, I don't know what's going on.
I'm a British driver, sorry.
Sorry, get one little wave and go off.
That's brilliant, I love that.
You going back next year?
Yeah, I want to. It's just so expensive.
I can imagine.
Ferry costs £500-600.
Is that how much it is
Jesus.
per time?
Well, return, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. And where we are here, the ferries are miles away, aren't they? So it's not.
Everything's miles away.
If you lived in Pembury or something, it could be half an
Nobody's
hour.
bad,
Wouldn't
would
it?
it? Yeah.
It's like 6 or 7 hours to get to the nearest ferry port, isn't it?
So to Holyhead, go that way.
Yeah.
God, so you're going to go all the way through Wales as well.
Yeah. The Holyhead's the one up by Anglesey, isn't it? That's Holyhead, isn't it? Yeah. So it's
All
Anglesey.
that way and then, oh god.
How long does a ferry take? Never been. So.
That's not too bad. I mean, that's nothing in comparison because you just sit on there drinking tea, don't you?
Meaning, yeah, like
What I do.
after that long drive, it'd be quite nice to still keep moving and sit there. I guess
Yeah.
almost a nice feeling. And then when you're at the other side, long drive again.
No, not at all. No, the other side's fine.
Okay.
For Mondello,
Yeah.
hour and a half, 2 hours, I think it was. It wasn't a lot at all.
It's just off the ferry, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the first time we did it, we got the sleeper, so you get a little cabin and you just go in there and it must be 2 or 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours. maybe.
Okay.
There's enough time to get your head down and then
Yeah.
you get back up and go again.
Oh, cool.
It's just the money side of it, I suppose.
That's
Yeah.
expensive.
It
Yeah,
is.
I didn't think it was that much.
It's money and time, isn't it? Because if they do a practice day on Friday, you've got to do it because the Irish don't
You
need
need
practice.
it.
You're already
Yeah,
losing.
you
We
need
do.
it. Yeah. Yeah, they know it. Well, yeah.
If you allow them to have more practice than you do, you're absolutely knackered.
Yeah. It's almost a pointless operation. If you
Yeah.
don't do it.
I mean, I fully expected, first time I went to Ireland, fully expected to go there and not qualify. And it was, Modena was the first one I did. And I was prepared to go there, do some practice, try and learn something and come home again.
Yeah.
That's the level.
Yeah.
And the depth of talent is the
Is that what happened?
No, I qualified, yeah,
Awesome.
quite well as well. I think I can't remember what it was. It wasn't single figures, but it was, in there.
Yeah.
In
Awesome.
Wasn't last.
No, by a long
Yeah.
shot. No, I was happy with that.
Drift league next year as well then?
Yeah.
Yeah, full
Cool.
season?
If
Awesome.
I can, yeah. I don't think any dates clash.
Yeah, cool.
Wife's birthday is always.
Hi, Joe.
Always pick wife's birthday.
Will she watch this?
Will she watch this?
Yeah.
Maybe she might get this far.
I think something we should do, any guests that we do have on with our partners, we should congratulate them for putting up with drifters.
That's the
So-
big thing. Yeah.
Well
Well
done.
done. Congratulations.
Well done.
It's a task, isn't it?
It is,
Oh,
yeah. I don't know how they put up with it. Yeah.
No.
No. Anyway, sorry, off track. Sidetracked.
Yeah. What was the point? Drift League, yes, you
Drift
can Drift League next year as long as it doesn't clash.
Yes, and I don't think it will. I think looking at all the dates, it looks good.
It
Yeah.
looks like a good season as well, like a good
Yes.
tracks layout sort of thing.
Yes.
It's very good.
I don't know if public they're up there. There's been some changes. I don't know how public they are,
Ooh.
but they will be soon because I'm about to tell you all.
Are you actually allowed to tell us?
Yeah.
Awesome, let's go for it.
I mean, the
Hang on. We're gonna pause. I'm gonna put some music in, like
Suspense.
a special, like a newsflash music.
So entry fees are always a bugbear.
Yeah.
Everyone, everyone's comments about UK drifting is that entry fees have gone through the roof. That's partially because of Drift League.
Right. Okay.
Because Drift League's entry fees have always been quite expensive if you don't take into account that all the tyre changing was free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The trouble with tyre changing being free is that some people use a lot more tyres than others.
Yeah.
So, you could turn up with all of your rims and not need a tyre change.
Which is normally me, to be honest.
Yeah.
That is normally me.
But you've invested towards the best tyre changing team in the country, maybe even this side of Europe, to turn up and do your tyres the quickest and the neatest that they can be done.
Yeah.
Well, you don't need that. So they've taken that on board, and they've now, for the first, well, certainly for the foreseeable, it's going to be paid for time changing like the old days, which means it won't be Gordon's team.
Yeah.
Which means you end up with a cheaper entry fee because you weren't intending on having tyres changed anyway.
Yeah.
It does mean that I've now got to pay for all my tyres to be changed.
And you go through them like how?
Yeah, but it should work out to be the same as what I would have been paying anyway. So, but it might be not the service that we used to.
Yeah, they are quick, aren't
That's-
they?
yeah.
We
They
have
were really
really
good at
good
pampering.
Yeah.
Just amazing, yeah.
Without, you know, I'm not bigging it up beyond what it is. The best tyre changing people in the business by a long shot.
Yeah.
The way the truck's set up, the way the fitters are.
Better than Auto First.
I mean, I was doing a couple, wasn't I?
Yeah,
So
it was, yeah.
that's how bad that was.
The amount of people that come, you were at tyre changing earlier, weren't you? No. Where's this rumour come from? Changing tyres.
I think that was Jack. He heard Matt and assumed you.
Yeah.
Not you.
Yeah.
So then Jack went around telling everyone, "Oh,
Yeah.
Benton's been changing a load of tyres." Like, has he? No.
I mean, that would be great with his name, wouldn't it?
What's that?
Matt Fit and Tyres.
Yeah. I never thought about that.
Do revival, see?
Yeah.
I always get him to do my tyres. I hate doing tyres.
Yeah, he taught me how to do tyres. I'd never done a tyre until I met him, and he was like, "This is how you do a tyre." And I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, I'll do a couple just to get used to it." I think I must have changed over 300 for him now. Don't think he's changed one since. Literally, like, I think you
I should
came up to
use
me.
my machine as well, shouldn't I? That might be a good idea.
No. He actually came up to me one day, and he came up to me and he gave me a can of beverage. I don't think we're allowed to say what the makes of them are. But he gave me a beverage, and at the time a cigarette because I was smoking. And he said, "You know what? If you didn't do all my tyres for me, I wouldn't drift half as much because I just hate doing it." And walked off and left me like a pile of 40 to do. I was like, brilliant.
When you used to use part ones,
Yeah, that was
a
part-
2 mil
yeah,
tyre
it
to
was.
painful.
Yeah, never go back to those days. But-
Good workout, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, you know when you've done 40
Full
tyres.
body
Yeah.
workout.
Oh, I hate it. I absolutely hate
Yeah, I
it.
do. I'm not a big fan. I don't mind doing it because
You should have had a go with the guy's machine.
I wouldn't have even bothered. I wouldn't have even tried.
You guys needed it though, didn't you? That's the problem.
Yeah.
Otherwise you would have stopped for a day.
I think I ended up finishing off Martin's wheels and then ended up using Martin's wheels while I went out and then came back and did my own wheels and then Martin used my wheels because they were all mixed up in the queue.
They got 2 tyre vans coming next time for the weekender. And yeah.
They got references.
And they can do upside down
Yeah.
wheels this time.
Yeah, they can do. They got proper tyre machines this time.
That, I mean, I don't know how much we can talk about the time machine at Autofest, but there was some interesting problems with it.
It was the downside, wasn't it? It was the letdown,
downside.
sadly. But
It was
we move on.
the tilt neck hitting the roof of the van. That was my single favourite one. Like, just tilt the neck. Oh, I can't, it's the roof of the van. So we've got to undo the level thing and then do the tilt a little bit to get past the rib in the roof of the van and then go. And it was like
I didn't
you know,
see it.
a 2 or 3 minute process to get the tilt neck back.
Really.
It was the fact that he tried to put them up. So obviously Alfie was running upside down wheels.
Yeah.
Same, well, I call them upside down wheels. Same as me.
That's what I thought, yeah.
But the machine wasn't set for it, was it? It just had
a
the.
centre lock with a pin that goes through a stud hole.
For the guy put a brand new wheel of
Yeah,
Alfie,
upside
brand
down.
spanking, upside down on it, and just did all the spokes. And I was just like, why would you even try that? You just go, sorry, mate, I can't do that.
Ripped the valve out of one of his wheels as well.
Did it?
Trying to do it, yeah.
The problem was, I mean, I'm sure it's alright for a lot of wheels, but like you say, it bolts down and like grabs hold of a stud hole with a peg, and then you just clamp it down in the middle, like
Yeah.
on a hub pull down.
Yeah.
But it's trying to turn the wheel from that. It's not, you know, we used to with the clamp on the outside of the rim, so it's got more leverage.
Yeah.
This was trying to turn from there, and it was
lot
a
of pressure on it.
yeah, it wasn't a very strong motor in the machine anyway. And then, you know, it's probably alright, a road tyre. But me and Martin have got semi-slicks, haven't we? And we're like, you know, they don't want to go on at the best of times.
Sidewalls are just
Yeah.
so, you can pretty much run them at like 3 psi, can't you? Because the sidewalls are so hard. So trying to get them fitted is.
And it was a leverless machine as well, so you couldn't use a lever with it if you wanted to, because the leverless thing was getting in the way and doing all this.
I don't think he understood what he was putting himself in for.
God no.
I think he saw, oh yeah, you know, so loads of people there that want tyres changing. Oh, ideal, money. This is going to be great. Got there and was like,
Came from London.
Yeah,
well.
Essex, wasn't it? I felt awful for him because he was.
Yeah. He's a nice guy.
He was broken.
Yeah, he was he was broken.
Yeah. Broken. Don't think he'll ever fit his tyre again.
Quick, he sold his van on the way.
Just left it in a lay-by. Caught an Uber home. Yeah, he did look like a bit of a shadow of a man after that day, didn't he? Bless him. But nice guy.
Yeah,
the guy was nice, but it's just
not.
Bit off a bit more you could chew, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it realised.
That was very much one extreme to the other. Like going from Gordon's team to that was kind of like, wow, like, you know.
There's been occurrences in the past where I've been at drift events where there's been a sea of wheels and tyres to be done, and you're thinking, well, actually, this isn't going to get done before the end of practice. You know, I'm going to run out of tyres before those are done. And with Gordon's lot, if there's 2 in the queue at most, and you know, it's an amazing production line of a team.
He do it really well, don't he? One person stabs a sidewall, lets the air down, rolls it up there, and it just works, doesn't it? And then that same guy's then blowing the tyre up. And
it just flows. It's a whole flow of a thing. It's amazing to see.
But what other inside scoop can you give us on Drift League?
So entry fees are going to be cheaper.
Awesome.
That's one big thing, and like I say, that was a bugbear for a lot of people because they just felt the entry was expensive. You didn't realise what was included with it. So now that's cheaper. That's one big bonus. Another thing a lot of people, including the Irish, were upset about was the split of competition and qualifying. So the way it was working this year is everybody qualifies on the Saturday and everybody battles on the Sunday. Now the thinking behind that is a great idea from a public point of view. Nobody wants to see qualifying, so you know you go for your Pro 2 day or your Pro day or Class 2 day and Class 1 day. You're not going to go for the morning because that's just practice, and then half of your afternoon is qualifying, which is quite boring because it's just single runs. And you know, if you don't really understand what's going on, it's not that much fun until the battles happen. So all you're really getting is a couple of hours at the end of the day for the top 32. Whereas get qualifying out of the way on the Saturday that nobody wants to see. Get everybody's qualifying out of the way, sweep that under the floor. Then Sunday is all about the battles.
Let's
go. So you can pay for your one Sunday ticket and just go and see all the battles. And a crescendo. So it goes from Class 2 all the way up to Class 1. Big final at the end.
Just battles all day.
So from a show point of view, it made it brilliant. But from a driver point of view, I didn't really appreciate how it drags it out until it happened. And I was fine with it because I'm quite laid back. So I'd just do my Saturday practice, have a few cups of tea, and then go off and do my qualifying, and then that was that. That was me done for the day. You know, so then I you know, no stress. Went up to Neil's thing this year, and he's back to the old format. Go and do qualifying on the Sunday. I'll go back, have a cup of tea. Somebody's screaming at me. You need to be in the queue. Don't qualify. It's got top 32 in a minute. And I'm, what? Look, I haven't even had my lunch yet. No, I had plenty of time really, but it just felt like I'm used to being done and finished at that point, which is crap because you know you just revved yourself up and got on cam, and then it's all over. So it's nice to be the old format from that point of view because it's as a you know whatever class you're in, your Class 2 or your Class 1, it's your day. You go there, you do your qualifying, you do your battles, and then it goes all the way through to the end.
So is that what it's going back to? So back to the old layout of so it'd be Class 2 on Saturday, so you do all Class 2 practice, all Class 2 qualifying, all Class 2 battles done. Yeah, cool.
I like that. I only like it for the fact that if I couldn't get, say, a Monday off, if we'd done it, we'd be in Class 2. Class 2 is the lower end.
Real close.
So if I couldn't get a Monday off, I'd be going home on, say, the Sunday morning or even the Saturday night. Whereas if it dragged out for both days, it was someone else that pointed it out. I was like, actually, that's really good. Good point.
Someone's saying it's a Friday and a Monday over both days.
You guys won't have to come up till Saturday afternoon if you didn't want it.
Unless there's a practice day. If they decide to do the practice day thing, then you need to be there for the Friday. Otherwise you're missing out really, aren't you?
Of course. Which I agree with. But that's also optional. If you can't get, say, the Friday off, then you have to miss them practice Saturday.
And it'll be the newer, less practice drivers that will need that have probably got less budget.
Yeah.
So they're taking the extra day off
Yeah.
when those that have been driving for years, that have done these tracks before, that know what gearing they need and all the rest of it, can turn up on the Saturday morning, Sunday morning, whatever, and just do it.
Yeah.
So it kind of like punishes those that have got the less budget to a point, I guess. But I don't know. It swings and roundabouts. There's pros and cons to each way of doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, always. And so there always some people are going to prefer it one way, some people are going to prefer the other. It's always going to be that.
I also like the fact that I could then stay on the Sunday if I wanted to, and just watch drifting.
Yeah.
Rather than being involved in it, running around.
Well, this is the big thing I like, that having it split, is the fact that, you know, let's say I didn't go for the Friday. If I just turned up Friday night, if I did the Friday practice, whatever. Saturday, I've got nothing to do. But I'll make sure I'm there for Saturday, because I want to see the Class 2s and I want to support them as much as I can.
Yeah.
Or I can concentrate on that, because I'm not getting ready for my qualifying immediately after theirs. So I kind of, you know, the way it's worked this year, I've probably missed the top end of the Class 2 qualifying because I'm prepping or I'm making sure I'm ready for my qualifying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas
I get that.
if it's a complete separate day, you might get a little bit of practice, but you haven't got to be so stressed about being ready for that. The car can just be sat there ready to go, chuck your suit on, watch all the qualifying, and then hop in the car.
Yeah.
So I like it from that point of view. But Gordon's beef on that, which I'm with as well, was that Class 2 on a Saturday and Class 1 on the Sunday. The Class 2 guys, so you've got 32 of each.
Yeah.
Over half of them will disappear Saturday night, which makes it a bit of a weak trophy celebration on the Sunday.
Yeah,
So you won't do the trophy celebration
For the Class 2s, yeah, probably, because
but the Sunday one.
the Sunday one for the Class 1 will be, there'll be less drivers there to show their appreciation. Whereas the way it is now, everybody gets announced at the end and everybody's encouraged to stay to the end. And it makes it more of
It
a
could be the other way round as well.
club atmosphere.
Class 1 might not turn up till Sunday morning as well.
Yeah,
You know, it could.
And
could
that
go
does
both
happen.
ways, Yeah.
exactly that. That
That
does
causes
happen.
havoc in the
Some
pit.
of the
You've got Class 2 trying to get ready to go out, and you've got Class 1 driving in through the pits, trying to set up and that.
some of the drivers might not be interested in seeing that, you know. But you know, I do. I want to support every aspect of it, and I want to be there. And you know, if I can get under a car and help or make something happen, then I'll be there and do it.
Yeah.
But there are drivers that won't.
Yeah.
So like I say, both sides of the coin there. But the way it works now, everyone has to stay.
Yeah, definitely.
But then you lose the ability to pull up drivers from Class 2 into Class 1.
Yeah.
So if you've got two separate days, generally the top 4 minimum are well capable of mixing it with Class 1. Well capable. And even to the point where in the old BDC days, you would find that the Pro 2s, back then as they were known, would be perhaps better than the pros on the Sunday, because
They
they're
had a whole day of practice.
Yeah. Not only are they had a whole day of practice, but they've had battle practice.
Yeah.
And they are on their game.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I
if
mean,
they-
I've shown up a few times. It looked like Matt Walker. He went up into Pro 2
Yeah.
from Drift Cup. I think he came like second, or he might have won Drift Cup up at Norfolk. Went up into Pro 2 BDC, rinsed it.
Yeah.
Then went up into Pro, rinsed it, and it's like everyone's like on Giant Slayer, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because he just come out of nowhere and his little E30 just absolutely slayed it. Just worked his way up through it, like it's mad.
So they don't do that in Drift League then? Sorry.
No, it physically can't, because you've got qualifying on Saturday and then battles on Sunday. So how do
Okay,
you organise
No, I mean the new layout.
the new setup? Will be.
Oh, they will be.
That's
yeah.
what I mean. This way of doing it allows that to happen.
Yeah.
So you, like I say, you pull up 4. I mean, if you've got a light grid on the Sunday, you might pull up more. But those guys will be battle practiced. They'll be full of confidence. Like the top 3 for sure, because they've just won a trophy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're obviously
Hyped
on their
right
A
up.
game. They've gone
Yeah.
right the way through a comp.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely unstoppable as far as they're concerned.
Yeah.
And they generally are. They go into it with that confidence, and you just see it straight away, no matter what tyres they're on. It could be on
Would they
road tyres.
still be able to run the road tyres in the Class 1 then?
Yeah, because it's
That would be-
like the semi-slicks is a maximum of a 200 semi-slick. You
Right.
can run a road tyre if you want to run a road tyre.
Oh, right, okay.
And I was always guilty in the E46 and BDC of thinking that I had to go on a semi-slick if I ever needed to do that. But my car was quicker on road tyres because the semi-slick was holding the thing back.
Right. Well,
Because-
gripping up too much.
Yeah, it was
sort of
way too much grip as it was. I was just adding more grip to a problem that was already a problem.
thing. Right. So yeah, it's actually faster on
I
the
should
road
have just
tyres.
said, well, stick with a road tyre, it flows better and it works better and it would have been much easier to drive.
That's mad. Yeah, I suppose you wouldn't really think about it like that.
No.
What do you think? More grip, more speed.
And I've seen it in Ireland when they bring the Pro 2s over to Pro 1. Some, half of the grid will just say, "Oh, I'm on road tyres. I've been running them all day yesterday. I know what I'm doing."
I know them. They
Yep.
work. Let's go.
And they can be 90% as fast, and that speed isn't everything.
That's crazy. Never even thought about it like that. Really, you
No,
just instantly think, don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it'd be
yeah,
completely
like
different. Yeah, so I think it'd be much more exciting from that point of view.
Yeah, definitely. And
So-
it's almost cause the thing that we've spoken about a few times. Like I would say, is like having a feeder series. Is
Yeah.
you're working your way up through it.
That's
Well,
the
doing
other
it
thing.
this way is if you're working from class 2 up to class 1, you've got something to work for.
Yeah.
And something to try and push yourself to improve yourself, so you can get up in the top 3, 4 of class 2 to progress up to class 1.
It's
And then
like a little reward as well, isn't it? Because you've paid your whatever it is entry fee, and then you get an extra bonus day.
Yeah.
So you've done well. You've got a trophy, but also you've got another day of drifting to do, and you can go out and mix it with the pros, and you will get dragged up. Your driving level will get dragged up.
Of course, the same as anything. You do anything that you're doing, you do it with people who are more
Yeah.
experienced and better. You will learn quicker and faster.
Yeah. I quite often hear people say, "Oh, I'm not going to go and do that event because it's full of pros." Like, well, you're missing the point.
Yeah,
You
that's
got-
the best time to do it.
Yeah.
Because drifting, unlike most sports, it's not all kept to your chest, is it?
No.
Most people want to go,
Not only
"Mate,
that,
I can see exactly what you're doing wrong here. You need to change. To try this and go a bit faster here and run this wider line."
if you went out and let's just say everybody was exactly the same. So if you met a driver who was driving exactly the same car as yours, exactly the same skill level as yours,
Poor bastard.
all season,
Yeah.
you wouldn't move forward
No.
because you'd both be battling away, and neither of you would be learning any more than
Sassing it.
Pretty much, because we drive
yeah.
so often.
And then you're worried about going to battle people that are much better than you, much powerful cars, and all the rest of it. That's missing the point, because if you can go out with them, yeah, they might be a bit quicker. Yeah, they might have more powerful cars and fancy wide tab and all the rest of it. But there is a potential that you can go out and do something and giant kill.
You can
Yeah.
learn to compensate. Like,
Yeah, that's
what
right.
you're
You
losing
learn.
out on. You can find a way to maybe cut a little bit, not too much.
Yeah.
Or so a little bit less angle gives you a bit more speed to get on
Things
that
like that, exactly that. You wouldn't need that in a competition where everybody's the same driver skill level. Just go out and drive with people that are way better than you, and you'll immediately get better.
Yeah.
Within,
100%, yeah.
I learned this at the Winter Battle Series last year, and again, I went there thinking if he might not qualify for this because there was like ridiculous amount of drivers, and just through practice, I'm like, I've got better within like 5 runs.
It's a great feeling
I've
as well,
learned
isn't it?
things and learned fast.
It's mad, isn't it? Because I always think of you was obviously like a bigger boy, and you'd sit here and go, "Oh yeah, I went out with people who I think are way better than me, and I learnt loads."
Yeah,
It's like, what?
Yeah,
What's going on here?
yeah. There's always stuff to learn.
Yeah.
Always. With Jack and Connor, they go to the battle series quite
Yeah.
often, and they're going there to learn. They've not completed it. They're going there to learn and keep sharp.
Yeah. Practice.
Yes, right. And
It's also like learn to drive with slower guys. Like you guys that are used to fast cars, if you're driving with slower cars, it's also keeping you on your toes.
yeah, you're right.
You're still learning. So every aspect there's ways to learn, turn up or down.
Yeah. So I've never liked to hear people say that they don't want to go out and do a comp because so and so's doing it. No, it's the point completely.
Yeah. Just get out there and go do it.
Yeah, I remember battling Wanacott years ago at the Pembury kart track in my 36, which is 290 horsepower NA, and it's like 200 foot-pounds, 200 and something foot-pounds. It's nothing. His car was nitrous and 800 horsepower and like I don't know 700 foot-pound of torque, and all the grip in the world West Lakes, and I was on road tyres, 205 4017 road tyres, and we were matched. How does that happen?
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Because you can get your flow with less power. It
Yeah.
doesn't. You might not be able to create the same smoke, and you might not be able to create the same angle.
And the noise and all that, and the flare, you won't
Yeah.
be the same.
No, that's right. That's the
Yeah.
things you get with the extra power and the
Yeah.
extra budget.
Yeah.
You don't have to be slow.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's-
there's some tracks as well, just like power isn't everything. So like obviously for the
Yeah,
takeover,
track makes a big difference. Yeah,
obviously it's not the same because Laurie is a super driver. We can't deny that. Laurie
Yeah.
is something
the
else.
lorry is something else.
Yeah, he is.
But he went out
something else.
chasing Nathan Vittori, V8 supercharged D46. Laurie was all over him.
Yeah.
He was on his door the whole
Yeah,
way
but
round.
a lot. I discount Laurie a little bit because he's just like,
Superhuman.
isn't he? Yeah.
I mean, he wakes up on a drift day with his helmet on, doesn't he? And
Yeah.
He's sat in the car.
First one there, isn't
Like,
he?
yeah.
He was like both days. So on the Saturday, obviously I took ages going out, but he was the first one out, spun in the first corner. I didn't realise how wet it was.
Yeah.
and then he got us going. And then Sunday I was like, because I was parked next to him, I watched him come out, and I swear he did have his helmet on as he came out his van, like, you know, ready to go. So I was like, right, I'm going after him, like, I'm second on track.
First
Every
time
time
he's
he
the
must mean it,
complete
got
opposite of
his
me.
helmet on.
Complete opposite. I've done track days with him before, right? And we've like shared a B&B or whatever. And he's like up all night, like, oh, I'm excited, I can't wait for tomorrow, And he's literally, in his head, he sat in the car already.
Yeah.
And this is the night before. And you get there, and I'm like, an hour on the coffee first. And he's like, no, we got to get to the car, we got to do this. Like, mate, it's an hour. We've got an hour before we go on track.
Well, I mean, the last Matsuri, when he was drifting the last one, shared a room with him, Airbnb. And I woke up in the morning and I was feeling a bit, you know, and I'm like, oh, he's up already downstairs. He's got a cup of tea in his hand. He's got all this stuff ready. He's like, ready to go now.
Yeah.
Like
He stood by the door tapping his feet, isn't he? He's like, come on, we got to go.
I'm more like you. I'm more of like yeah, we'll worry about that in a minute. Coffee? Where's the coffee at?
Yeah. We've got like 6 hours of track time, Laurie. We don't need that first 10 seconds. We do.
Yes, we do. We must be out first.
Yeah.
God.
But that's why he's good, isn't it? Because he does all
He
the
is
secret-
very good.
Yeah.
I heard it was just because you set his car up.
Well, there's that as well.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. That's all it is. It's nothing else. It's Matt Smith set up car, so that's why it does well.
When I'm drinking this car, like it's duty free and like it's mad.
Because it
I've
actually
tried-
drives.
Yeah.
Yeah, he likes cars that handle like shit.
I only did it for like the marketing challenge at Christmas at Zoyans or something like that. And he was like, just absolutely pin it, throw it in, it'll be fine. I was like, alright, so I was a bit, you know, someone else's car, I'm a bit hesitant at first. And I was miles away from it. And I went in and he goes, no, go again, just smash it. I was like, alright. So I absolutely booted it around the top corners, threw it in, parked in perfectly, and I was like, it's definitely the car. That was not me.
This car just works.
Yeah.
No, he's very. It was funny because first time I met Laura was up in Zoyland, and I was up there. I think with my sister randomly. She wanted to have a go at drifting, and so I took her up there. And you were there, and I was like, oh, bored now. I've been on my own all day. Like none of the boys were there, sort of thing. And then you were like, oh, go swim with Laura. You can go out, Laura. Oh, nice to meet you. And he was like, yeah, come chase me. I was like, all right. So I went out around the first corner, and it literally felt like chasing him because he was so consistently in exactly the same place.
You could just
within half a lap, I was literally like, I've got nothing but trust here, and just went straight up on him.
You know where he's going. Like you just know where he's
It's
going.
like driving with these two because just note the consistency.
Yeah.
And then he followed me, and I remember looking out the window, and you could tell, oh, so that's one. I best not get close to it. And I remember looking at him, going, come on, like that, and him literally just going, okay. I'm like, oh fuck, like, it's a man literal. Like, yeah, I'm keen on that.
He said to me like, look, don't worry, just get my door. He's like, oh, but it's shiny. He's like, no, don't worry, just get on my door.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
I think I was in the car with.
You were with Laurie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw you go like that, and it's just like out of nowhere, Rory went, yep.
It's like, how did you do that? Like, that's awesome. Yeah, it was good. It was cool, eh?
And onto the subject of setup then.
Yeah.